Welcome to the Lake Metroparks Volunteer Safety Training. In this video, you'll learn a wide variety of information to help you, staff, and visitors stay safe during your service with us. Good housekeeping is an important best practice for volunteer service at Lake Metroparks. Practice good housekeeping during your volunteer service to keep yourself, staff, and visitors safe. Keep work areas clean and neat. A place for everything and everything in its place. Speak to your supervisor if you are unsure where the tools and supplies you use for your assignment should be stored after use. If you see a safety hazard, such as equipment stored in a dangerous way, report it to your supervisor right away. Good housekeeping helps eliminate accidents and fires and makes cleanup easier for everyone. Many positions require volunteers work with food. Follow these steps to make sure food is prepared, cooked, and stored safely. 1. Clean and wash hands, utensils, food prep surfaces, and fruits and veggies. 2. Separate raw foods and cooked foods when shopping, cooking, and storing. 3. Cook food to the right temperature. Use a food thermometer and check with your supervisor for correct temperatures. 4. Chill perishable food by refrigerating within 2 hours. Ask your supervisor if you have any questions about food safety during your assignment. We want to make sure all our volunteers stay safe when out on the trails in Lake Metroparks. Keep the following tips in mind if your assignment involves going out for hikes or on trails. Be aware and walk confidently. Wear comfortable shoes and clothing. Do not wear headphones. Lock your vehicle and carry your cell phone. Use authorized trails and don't litter. Keep your dog on a leash. Let friends or family know where you're going. Be prepared for early sunsets in fall and winter. Bad weather can cause life-threatening situations if we don't make safety a top priority. Many positions require volunteers be outside in winter weather conditions, such as ski patrol, trail ambassadors, and parking assistant. Make sure you monitor weather conditions and come prepared. Dress for the weather. Know the signs of hypothermia. Stay on marked trails and don't travel alone. Walk like a penguin to avoid slips and falls on ice. Know your weather warnings and advisories. Use common sense and do not report for service if the weather is hazardous. For the most up-to-date information on facility closings due to emergency or weather, follow us on Facebook, check lakemetroparks.com, or call 440-358-7275. Lake Metroparks is committed to keeping our volunteers, staff, and visitors healthy. We follow CDC guidelines and recommendations from the Lake County Health Department when developing our policies for COVID-19. Fully vaccinated individuals do not need to wear a mask inside. Volunteers who are unvaccinated are still required to wear masks while inside. This is Lake Metroparks policy as of November 2021. Check with the volunteer office for the most current information. Regardless of vaccination status, best practices for preventing the spread of disease include washing hands often or using hand sanitizer if sinks and soap are not available, sneezing or coughing into your mask or covering with a tissue or elbow, cleaning and disinfecting surfaces daily, and self-monitoring for symptoms. If you feel sick, stay home. Let's work together to keep each other healthy. Even though emergency situations are unlikely, it is always best to be prepared. Make sure to discuss emergency procedures for your assignment and facility with your supervisor. In the event of these natural disasters, here are some tips to keep you safe. Tornado. Evacuate to tornado shelters or shelter in an interior room with no windows. Severe thunderstorm. Seek shelter immediately and stay away from windows and doors. Flooding. Move to a higher floor, or if evacuation is recommended, higher ground. Do not walk or drive through floodwaters. Earthquake. Take cover under a sturdy piece of furniture and cover your head until the shaking stops. If outside, stay away from buildings. In the event of an active shooter, follow these steps recommended by the Department of Homeland Security. Run. Have an escape route planned and leave your things behind. Call 911 if it is safe to do so. If you can't run, hide. Get out of sight of the shooter. Silence electronics and block doors. Communicate with law enforcement silently through text messaging or signs in windows. As a last resort, fight. Ambush the shooter by throwing makeshift weapons. Some positions require that volunteers handle money. If you are the victim of a holdup while volunteering, remain calm and cooperate. Do not resist and give the robber what they want. Call 911 as soon as it is safe to do so. In the event of a medical emergency, follow these steps recommended by the Red Cross. Check the situation. Call 911 if necessary. Care for the injured if you know what to do. You may observe unusual behavior, or it may be reported to you by a visitor. If you see or are told about someone acting irrationally, suspiciously, or making threats, tell your supervisor immediately. If there is an imminent threat of violence, call 911. When a missing person is reported inside the parks, our response depends on the situation. If a child tells you they cannot find a parent, keep them with you and locate a staff person immediately. If a parent reports a missing child, find a staff person immediately. If the parent chooses to continue searching, a staff person should accompany them. We may need your help to document an emergency situation with an incident report. Incident reports are completed by our ranger department when there is an incident on park property. If you are involved in an incident, for example, if you report a medical emergency or missing child, you may be questioned by the ranger department for the incident report. You are expected and required to comply with this process. You have the right to be treated with dignity and respect during your service, and to have that service take place in a safe environment. Lake Metroparks is committed to providing an environment that is free of discrimination and unlawful harassment. Actions, words, jokes, or comments based on an individual's sex, race, ethnicity, age, religion, or any other legally protected characteristic shall not be tolerated. If you feel you have been the victim of harassment, report it to the volunteer office immediately. If you have another type of issue during your service, follow this grievance procedure. Lake Metroparks ensures that every volunteer is always treated in a fair and impartial manner. Volunteers should follow these steps to resolve issues. 1. Attempt to settle problems with the site supervisor. 2. If the issue is not resolved, report the issue to the volunteer office. 3. If you are not satisfied with the solution, a letter can be written to the executive director, whose decision shall be final. None of us wants to believe that sexual abuse may be happening to someone we know. Unfortunately, these things do happen, and it is very important to understand what sexual abuse is and what to do if you are the victim of abuse, or if abuse is reported to you. The following is Lake Metroparks' sexual abuse and molestation prevention policy. We take the safety of all volunteers, staff, and visitors extremely seriously, especially minors. We have a zero tolerance policy regarding any acts of prohibited behavior per our sexual abuse and molestation prevention policy. All volunteers aged 16 and older must review and sign off on this policy. If you have not received a copy, contact the volunteer office immediately. Sexual abuse takes the form of inappropriate sexual contact or interaction for the gratification of the actor. Sexual abuse includes sexual assault, exploitation, molestation, or injury. If you believe an act of sexual abuse has occurred or one is reported to you, you must notify your supervisor and the ranger department immediately. You will be asked to comply with the ranger department and fill out an incident report. You may be supervising youth visitors or working with youth volunteers during your service. Please keep these regulations in mind when doing so. Volunteers are not permitted to be in a room with minors with the door closed. All activities should be conducted in areas that are easily accessible and visible. Do not follow minors into the bathroom. Wait outside in the hall until they are done. Volunteers must refrain from any inappropriate physical contact with minors, such as full frontal embracing or sitting on laps. Volunteers must immediately report and document any unusual incidents, including disclosures of abuse or maltreatment, behavior problems and how they were handled, injuries, or any interactions that might be misinterpreted. Volunteers are prohibited from giving individual gifts to minor participants unless approved by the department supervisor and the minor's parent or guardian. Congratulations! You have completed your safety training. But wait, there's one more step. To receive credit for completing this training, email volunteer@lakemetroparks.com or call us at 440-585-3041, extension 6418, and provide your name, the date you watched the video, and the phrase "Safe Parks." Thank you for taking the time to make your safety and the safety of all our volunteers, staff, and visitors a priority.